Greetings, everybody. Greetings. I hope that today you're doing well, you're blessed, you're happy. I hope that your jurisdictions are doing well. And to the brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, definitely a big shout out to you. So, those of you who are going to be joining us today, those of you who may be part of the craft, I bid you greetings. And those of you who are not, bid you also greetings. Today, we're going to be talking about the golden bow and the silver cord and what does it really mean. And for those of you who have not yet heard of that, and for those of you who have and really not have paid attention to what it is that is being said in regards to the golden bow and the silver cord, we're gonna take a look at that and see what it really means and how it breaks down to Freemasonry. So as everyone begin to come on in, I want to say thank you from me to you. This has been an awesome week. Last week, we found ourselves in Las Vegas, had a wonderful time, and to all the brothers of the craft that came out to support this jurisdiction, as far as True Kinsman Lodge #1 in Las Vegas. They were the host of the Raising in the Desert. It was totally an awesome time. I mean, how can I put this? People can read about things in the Masonic ritual, but to actually experience it is totally, totally different. That's why I can say these things, because there are brothers who have really gone through that process as they see it in the ritual. They have actually gone through it. And so that's the beauty of it all. And to everyone who's coming on right now, please give your lodge a shout out. I want to hear from your lodge. I want to know what jurisdiction you're in. And if you are not a Mason or an Eastern Star, just say shout out from the state you're in. I just want to get a feel. What up? Greetings to the most universal Grand Lodge, Ancient Free and Accepting Masons, Louisiana. Great, great, great. We'll be coming through there real soon through Lafayette. I don't know how far you are from Lafayette, but definitely we're going to be coming through there, hanging out for a minute. What's up, Harmony, Indiana? AF and AM. What's up, Eric Porter? How you doing, Porter? Certainly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, and everyone who's about to come on. So today we're talking about that thing they call the golden bowl and the silver cord, and what it means allegorically, having that conversation, and how does it fit into Freemasonry, and even the Order of the Eastern Star. Although it is not really mentioned, it is there. And like I said before, the Eastern Star and the Freemasons go hand in hand. I mean, there is so much that they shadow each other in such a sense that is freaking amazing. I definitely want to say this before I go into it. Some years ago, I said that the United Grand Lodge of England will sooner than later have recognition with those female Masons in England. And now I said that about 3 years ago. I said in 5 years, this was going to happen. As I watched that dynamics over there with them and what they're saying now in regards to the female Grand Lodge of England, I'm just saying it is going to come, and it's going to hurt some of your feelings knowing that the Grand Lodge of England is now recognizing free Masons women. And they've already said this. They've already said the works of the female Grand Lodge of England is regular. They've already said that. They consider them to be irregular because they are females. That is the only reason. So you can't tell me that they didn't see the workings of that lodge in order to say that their works is regular. I'm just letting you know this is going to come, and some of you are going to be hurt. Some of you may not, but I'm just letting you know it's going to go down. It's going to go down. Chill, Will. What's up? Most wishful Ezekiel Grand Lodge out of Brooklyn, New York. Welcome aboard. Well, Harmony, Indiana, AF and AM. Most wishful Grand Lodge. All right. Everybody, greetings to you. Greetings to you. So tonight, as I said, we're talking about the golden bow and the silver cord. And I know some of you have any of you ever heard of the golden bowl and the silver cord? To you Masons that are here in the chat, have you heard of that? And if so, what does it mean to you? And if you want to call in today, you're certainly welcome to do so. You're certainly welcome to call in. Let me put that number in here if you want to call in tonight and have this conversation in regards to the golden bowl and the silver cord. Hold on just a second here. So if you want to, if you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so, because this is going to be interesting, because I don't think a lot of Masons actually pay attention to when they hear that particular word, those words, the golden bowl and the silver cord. And it's usually, man, it's when those words are spoken, in the occasion for which they are spoken, is usually at a time that a person has gone to their everlasting home. The person has gone to their everlasting home when they usually hear that. I'm just saying, they are. So the golden bowl is considered to be the skull. The golden bowl is considered to be the skull. I'm just diving right into this tonight. I'm not gonna do a lot of whatever, but I just want you to know the golden bowl. Hello, brother, how you doing? Brother Love from from Texas, greetings. So when you talk about this golden bowl and the silver cord, first of all, we're talking about two things. Allegorically speaking, we're talking about the crown, the skull. Secondly, we're talking about the spinal cord. Okay, when we talk about the golden bowl and the silver cord, we're talking about the skull, and we're talking about the spinal cord or the spinal nerve. The keepers of the house were the hands, the strong man, the lamp. The whole picture is made of symbolism, and the body as it is falling into ruins and approaching death. There's going to be some things in masonry. We talk about youth, manhood, and age. Three of the distinct things in regards to a man. We talk about youth, manhood, and age. What it is to be a youth, to remember your creator. What it is to be a man is to grow into oneself. And what it is to be an old man is to look back upon a well-spent life because of the crown, because of the golden bowl and the silver cord as it begins to bend. And as your mind begins to go. So as you begin to become fragile, now you begin to become afraid of heights. You don't run as fast. You don't jump as high. And this black hair becomes gray. The grinders become few. And then you become afraid of going outside in the night. And then you be afraid to even peep out the windows. The shadows, these eyes become dim. See, if you notice anything about when you begin to go through those stages of life, greetings, Grandmaster, greetings. As you begin to go through those stages of life of youth, manhood, and age, in youth, you're not afraid of anything. Let's just be honest. Young people, I'm talking about as you begin in that youthfulness, you're fearfulness. You're not afraid. You're not afraid. And in masonry, it tells you that you're full of zeal. You're full of that energy. You're full of that vigor, that yeah. See, but as you begin to mature from youth to men, you should be able to, as the senior wardens say, be able to calmly, what's the word I'm looking for? You should be able to not suppress, but be able to control those passions that you had in your youth. See, when you're youthful, when you're in that youth, man, things don't really faze you. But as you get older, when you get into your 30s and your 40s, you tend to look at things totally different than you did when you was in your 20s and early 30s. See, when you was in them 20s and early 30s, you was hitting the club hot. 10 o'clock. You wasn't going 9 o'clock, you just getting up. By 9:30, you ironing, hitting the shower. 10 o'clock, you hitting the door. That youth, man, you can stay up late and go to work right after you done hit the spot. See, that's that youthfulness. Now, as you get older and you become a man, you look back, you be like, nah, I'm not going. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hit it about 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go out about 7, be back about 11, maybe 10. See, now you're getting into that age of really thinking about life. Okay, when you hit them late 30s, hitting them 40s, you begin to think about life. What legacy are you going to leave? Because now you're heading into what they call old age, and let me tell you, everything begins to happen when you hit that age. But as you begin to go through your youth, your manhood, and your age, there's a process. And this is what I like about Freemasonry. It takes you through a process. It actually tells you to remember your creator in the days of thy youth. Because there are some days that are coming after the youth that you're going to have to really consider, what did you do with that time? Because between the time you were born and the time you die, what have you done? What did you leave? Who did you leave it with? Did you impress upon someone about their life journey? Were you able to lift up another person along the way? Who did you inspire? So when you think about that time of the golden bow and the silver cord, as the silver cord begins to bend, the older you get, some people, if they don't take care of themselves, they begin to walk, and there's in that silver cord, that spinal cord, it begins to bend a little bit. And then that golden bow, or that golden bowl, this here dome up here, that crown chakra, it doesn't light up as quick. So as we go through this process and we talk about the golden bow and the silver cord, we find that man is going to go to a place that he calls his everlasting home. His everlasting home. Okay? Because Masonry deals in allegories and symbols. We all know that. But what most of us don't do, we don't go and check the allegories or the symbolism, and we're just so happy to be a Mason in an Eastern Star. And the same thing can be said about the sisters as they walk through the labyrinth of life, going through those 5 stages of womanhood as they get initiated into each one. Whereas man has youth, manhood, and age, a woman has 5 different stages she go through. She has 5 different stages. Brothers only have 3. So as we hit these stages, we're all different. And they say that a woman, when she is in her 50s, this is when she's at her most, at her peak. Men in their 40s and 30s is at his peak. You gotta like shake your head at this thing. They say a woman is at her peak in her 50s. A man is in his peak in his 30s and 40s. Some may differ, some may not. No, that's not. But hey, I'm just saying, according to statistics, this is what you get. So as we in Masonry begin to break down these things in symbolism and allegories, we find that they are a direct correlation to life and how we should live our life, and how we should be directed in others in seeing us how we live our life. So as we go to our everlasting home, the mourners keep on about their business. You ever notice that after you have buried your loved ones or someone has passed on, the mourners, they keep trucking. They got bills to pay tomorrow. Some people get caught up in the mourning process, and they never come out of it. They never come out of it. Some people are able to go about their daily business like this is life. One thing for sure, the equalizer in life is death. The equalizer in life is death. And you're probably saying, well, how does this correlate with Freemasonry? Well, in Freemasonry, we have something you call the hourglass. We have something you call the level. For each of us are traveling upon the level of time to which man is born and soon he's going to die. So, as I said before, what do you do between the time you're here and the time you leave? Greetings, how's it going? On every tombstone, there are 3 dates: the date that you were born, the date you passed, and the dash. What will your dash say about you? Absolutely. What will it say about you? Because here's the thing: people are only going to remember you for who you were and what you did. Period. And then you're going to soon fade away. That's it. People are only going to remember you for what you have done for them or to them, and you're going to fade away. The ideal is how long you're going to last and how many people have you touched along your journey. If all you've ever done was cut somebody down, then what's going to be said about you in this life journey? So, whatever man have been, whatever man have been, good or bad, death is the great equalizer. And the reason I'm talking about this is because in Freemasonry, many of you have heard of, oh yeah, I've been raised. Well, what does that symbolize? Death and resurrection. So when you say you've been raised, what have you been raised to? Masonry has its own words. They may say, I've been raised from this to that. But really, what have you been raised to? Are you still doing that same old thing, or have you been raised to a higher level of thinking, a different way of doing things? You know, they say one of the great tools, working tools of Freemasonry as a Master Mason is the trowel. And why is the trowel such a great working tool as far as a Freemason is concerned? It is because of the trowel that you can spread the cement of brotherly love. And it's spread it with cement because when things are with that cement, bro, it's tight. It's tight. So if you are really capable of spreading the cement of brotherly love, why so many of us at times cut down the next person? We must understand that Freemasonry is a different beast. It's different. And that is the beauty of Freemasonry. The mere fact that it is different. The mere fact that as you travel along this level, as you look at the sands that run through the hourglass, as you see the sword pointing at the naked heart, what does all of these symbolism and teaches us in Freemasonry? Why must I run to a brother aid? Why must I remember a brother when I pray? Why must I keep a brother word in my breast? You know, and whisper good counsel in his ear. What does that really symbolize as a brother begin to go through these stages of life? Because Masonry is not meant for everybody. It's not. There's just some people that's not going to get it or understand it, although they may be members and clearly they may have gone up through the ranks, but they're not going to be able to grasp it in such a way to extend that brotherly love. They're just not going to catch it. And to read the initiation out of a book and not to experience it, you've totally missed the cream of the crop of what it is to be a Mason. I would tell you this. If you came out, hey, Brother Morpheus, I say thank you, Brother Morpheus, I appreciate it. There were individuals who came out to actually see the works that we did in the desert. And now they can appreciate exactly when we say a raising in the desert and the brothers are going from the valley to the hilltop. Man, that's a beautiful thing. And it's night. And so this even adds more meaning to the golden bow and the silver cord. It even adds more meaning to that. Because if you know anything about the process for which Harriman went through, then you will understand the golden bow. You will be able to grasp that and understand that was the final blow, the one that took him out. And there he was found on a high hill. He was moved around several times, but there he was found on a high hill. So as we begin the process of breaking that down and understanding, okay, so where did this come from? This silver cord in this golden bow that this brother is talking about. How does this really fit into Freemasonry? Well, if you go and read, I can't tell you where to go and exactly read it, but if you open that book, you will find so many tangibles that is in Freemasonry, that is in the craft, be it the Quran, be it the Bible, any of the books of faith. The Freemasonry plays a part, or it plays a part in Freemasonry. Let me rephrase that. The books of faith plays a part in Freemasonry. Each one of them. You can name one, and it all plays a part in Freemasonry. Every last one of them. It plays such a part to, if individuals from various religions become part of Freemasonry, they totally get it. They totally are able to understand it and why that plays a part. We talk about Hiram Abiff. Well, Hiram Abiff, according to the legend, he died. But actually, when you read the various books of faith, Hiram lived a well-spent life. This is why it's called the legend of Hiram Abiff. But if you go into the symbolism of what Masonry is, and when it talks about the silver bowl, and when it talks about the silver crown, when I lost my thought on that. When it talks about the golden bowl, and when it talks about the silver cord, you find that those things directly and indirectly talk about death and resurrection. And you don't get that until you get into the lessons of the Master Mason degree. Although we tell most people, you know what? As an apprentice, you're supposed to do what? And if you're doing that, then you're going to go past where you're at. This is why I don't get mad at inner apprentices or fellowcraft when they have really done their work. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. All you have to do is do the work. And man, when you get to that place, you're going to totally understand what it was all about and what it really means. This is why the golden bowl and the silver cord is played in allegory and symbolism is so important to understand, that it captures everything about a man and how he should be upright in life. How are you so knowledgeable and there are other Masons who are not? Does the lodge have influence on this? For the example, are some lodges more focused on digging and deeper? Yeah, that is true. We have an esoteric lodge, strictly esoteric. And then we have a lodge where we just talk about symbolism. And if you want to go deeper, you got to go to the lodge, the esoteric lodge. This is how we do it here. And Brother Morpheus, he came out from Atlanta to see for himself how we do our works. And so we just a little different. I mean, the way we open and do our business is different as far as opening ceremonies to Masonic degree work. It's different. I would tell you this. The way we open in our Masonic works identifies who we are. It has more of an African spirituality to it. It because I believe in my journey in Freemasonry should in your lodge symbolizes who you are. That's me. Because from what I've read and gathered and understood and understand, what we practice here in the United States is called American rights. It's not a French right or a true Scottish right. It is an American rights. But as you travel and see Masonry for yourself from various points of view, then you understand that where you're at, it needs to look like you. When I go to my Hispanic lodge, I've said this 100 times, it looks like them. It feels like them. When I've gone to a European lodge, it feels like them. It looks like them. So when a brother comes visit my lodge, I want it to feel like us. my lodge. I wanted to have that African feel to it, that spirituality that all of us have, but more so on that higher level, you know, to when you come in, it's not just your basic opening, you know. I'm not a Mason yet, but I enjoy coming on the channel and listening to you go in depth in the esoteric. I appreciate that. I do. And I would hope that a lot of Masons who come aboard, they get into that. Instead of going back and forth over small things, get into building yourself up. Because as you enter into the Master Mason degree, it clearly says you're now entering into esoteric Freemasonry. It clearly says that. So when I talk about the golden bow and the silver cord, that's esoterically talking, knowing that I'm clearly talking about the spinal cord and the skull. Who gave that final blow? You know, how does that come into the play with Freemasonry? Where was he found? How was he found? You know, all of those things that I speak of, those who have gone through the process totally understand what I'm talking about. Because the bone, the meat cleaved from the bone, is slipped from the bone. You know, so as we begin to break that down, we see things totally different than the average person do. As a Mason and as a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star, one who indulge themselves truly in the works, see things totally different than the average person who walk around and see the symbolism of the Eastern Star and the Freemasons. See it totally different. And that is the honest truth. They see it totally, totally different. And that is what I find in the beauty of the organization. Because just as people talk about, yeah, I want to be a Mason, I want to be an Eastern Star. Once they begin that process, they may realize, I don't know, this probably wasn't for me. And it probably wasn't. Because I would tell you this, if it's not in your heart, don't do it. Because you're not going to catch it. Once again, if it's not in your heart, don't do it. You're not going to catch it. You're not going to understand it. And that's being real. That's being real as I can get. Peace to you also. I'm just reading back over some of the things people are posting. So just as those brothers who was initiated and raised in, who was actually raised in the desert, they see things totally different now based upon their experience. And that is truly the beauty. Like next week, no, is it next week? Week after that, when we initiate brothers into the Order of the Eastern Star. Yeah, we initiate brothers into the Order of the Eastern Star. They just don't become points or patrons. They get initiated in this jurisdiction. If you want to be an Eastern Star, be it male or female, you will be initiated. Period, bar none. That's just how we do it. But as a brother goes through that initiation, he's going to have a better understanding of those 5 points and what they mean to him as a Mason, more so than a brother who speaks to a sister who has not gone through those initiation rites. And that is indeed the beauty of being a brother who's a part of the Order of the Eastern Star. He's able to have that great conversation. And when he begins to talk about those similarities in Masonry, in the Order of the Eastern Star, he can then piece that puzzle together. Because once he walked around the labyrinth, as he traveled from point to point and being introduced to the sister, the mother, the wife, the daughter, the friend, as he being introduced to them, he's going to have a different point of view now. Because he understands the life of a woman, and he understands the life of a Mason, youth, manhood, and age. And then he come upon these 5 points. See, he doesn't have working tools now. He's dealing on points. Masons deal on squares, levels, and plumbs. That's how they deal. We deal on those things. Eastern stars deal on points. This is why those who deal in astrology understands that they deal on points along with working tools. You'll catch that on the way home. You will. You will definitely catch that on the way home. Can't go 360 degrees if you don't have a point. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. You can't go. You cannot do it. However, many of us who are part of the craft, many of us who go through this process don't tend to pay attention to those small details. We don't, because we're so anxious and we're so wanting to be a part of things that we're not paying attention to what's actually happening to us. So therefore, as you go through these different rites and passages, you're missing a lot, because you don't go back yourself and read and see what exactly taking place to you. So when you begin to find these different verses in the Bible that applies to your youth, your manhood, and your age, be it in the various books of faith, because this is what makes Masonry so unique, because it doesn't tell you to put down your faith or your belief. It actually tells you should stand on it. And that is one of the things that I enjoy about Freemasonry also. It has never said you must deny anything. It has told me to stand on it. Stand on those principles. Stand on justice and truth. Some people say, well, what's the wish for master check word? And if you don't know, then I'm sorry for you. Every master mason should know the wish for master check word. And let's be clear. There's a difference than being a master mason than a sublime degree of a master mason. There's two distinctly things that are happening there. Master mason and a sublime master mason are two different things. Just letting you know. So when you are having a conversation with a person, you got to be able to distinguish, okay, are you a master mason or are you a sublime master mason? They're different. That's just a cookie for you to have today. Something for you to think about. Just going to put that out there for you, because there it is. If they only knew the esoteric part of the OES, it would blow the brother's mind. Yeah, it would. Slim Daddy not? Absolutely it would. But what happens in that, when you gather yourself into it, a lot of them are not ready for it. And this is what happens to a lot of individuals who come in to the craft. They are just not ready. Oh, okay. I was reading what Brother Teller was saying in regards to Matt S. Everyone has knowledge in their own way. Some brothers have talent, some progressive than others. Absolutely. I agree. Some people are just more aggressive than learning than others. I have to agree. Some lodges, and I'll tell you this here, some lodges don't, they don't put it out there like that. They don't. Some lodges just don't put it out there like that. And so, as the brother just said, Freemasonry is progressive. It is a progressive science. And why do we say it's a progressive science? Because if you look at your body, I'm going to show you 5 points. If you stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out, in the top of your crown, that's 5 points. That's 360 degrees, right? It's a 3 dimension of a man, right? And in the order of the Eastern Star, they bring you 3 dimensions of the woman and her life and how she go through. And Masonry, the full circle is the sublime degree of a master mason. When that person has truly been able to break down the the beauty of what masonry means as far as in his life. And he's taken those 9 emblems that he get along the way, because you get these emblems along the way. And when you receive these emblems, they all become part of the master mason workings. Those 9 emblems that you receive along the way until you become a sublime degree of a master mason are all given to you along the way. And they each mean something as you proceed in this life journey. And then what happens is, as the golden crown begins to lose its glitz and its glow, you can begin to reflect upon a well-spent life. Because most men of age sit back and remember when. They do. I remember when I was able to. That's what most men of age do. Because the youth are making memories. Old men are remembering the memories. That's a fact. Youth make memories. Old men remember memories. He has them. Because what happens is, he's going to remember more people that are dead than alive. You catch them on the way home. Go to the Masanga Lodge. Where's in your area? Or you can find some on Facebook. Just type in Massachusetts Freemasonry and let them know your interest. Oh, yeah. So as we begin this journey, and we take in consideration the golden bowl and the civil crown, the civil cord, and what it means in your life, and how you're supposed to be able to walk upright, and how you're supposed to be able to understand that when it's broken, and man go to his everlasting home, he's going to meet his creator. And there you're going to be able to weigh the heart versus the feather. The heart versus the feather. You be able to weigh it out with the scales. And like I said, justice isn't blind, just those who have the power to deliver justice. So when you see the scales and the lady is blind, she's not blind. Not at all. It's just those who have the power to distribute the justice. So as you go through this process, this life journey, this when you be able to grab hold of the golden bowl and the silver cord, as they begin to crack and as they begin to break down, then there you're going to say, vanity, 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 all was in vanity. What did you do with it? Between the dashes, as the brother said, you got the date you was here, you have the dash, and the date you left. So what did you do in between? What is going to be said about you? So in this journey of Freemasonry, the Order of the Eastern Stars, we're going to have to start considering some serious things. So look, I'm going to call it a day, and I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. And till next time, I'm calling it short tonight. Until next time, you have a great day, and peace, and be well. I'm out.